Welcome to Sales Made Easy. It's your friend in business, marketing, and sales, Devon Gall here. What we're going to do today is talk about some of the effective habits of highly successful people. So let's jump right on into it. Number one is they understand the power of leverage. All right. In the beginning, a lot of us, as an entrepreneur or a beginning salesperson or starting a business, the only real asset you have is your own personal time, all right? And to leverage your own personal time, you must learn two things: how to work hard and work smart. They used to tell me, what's more important, working hard or working smart? The answer was both, all right? But once you reach a certain point and you learn how to maximize and be the most efficient use of your time, you're going to reach a productivity cap. Even if you're Superman and you're doing 5 hours of sleep and working the other 19 hours straight, you're going to reach a level of plateau, right? That's when you start going to leverage. Start leveraging other people's time, other people's skills, and other assets in your business to start growing your business at an exponential rate you're growing your sales at an exponential rate that you can't personally do on your own, all right? So they understand that power of leverage. Next is they have a student mentality and they're constantly working on themselves, on improving themselves. They don't concern themselves with what other people are thinking or doing. They're busy. They got things to do. They can't get sucked down into that low energy of gossip and hanging out around the water cooler talking about this, that, and the other thing that has nothing to do with making money or making progress, right? So they're focused on always getting better, always being curious, always learning, but also self-improvement, right? How can they personally be better or do better, right? Be more efficient, be more productive. They network. They value their relationships. All right, they understand the power of knowing people, all right? It's not what you know, it's who you know, right? It's kind of both, but valuing your relationships and networking is so important in moving forward, because you don't know that person that you're talking to, that person that you're listening to, they could be way ahead of you and they might have something to offer you, right? So they understand the value of building great relationships and learning from every single person. Maybe the person isn't ahead of you. Maybe they're behind, quote unquote, behind where you are in your business journey, but that person still has something to teach you value to. A brand new hire, a brand new person that comes on the team, they have something to teach you also. So they value those relationships and they nurture those relationships. They understand the power of compound interest over time. All right, what's that mean? Just think of the gym, right? If you're doing one set, one day, it's not that amazing, right? But if you're doing that same thing for years at a time, over time, that's going to be an incredible result. I heard it as doing ordinary things an extraordinary amount of time, right? So very, very key here is doing these kind of things that other people aren't willing to do. Great example is direct marketing. What my specialty is just talking to people face to face. Well, 99% of the day is getting rejected. So what happens is most people that come into the business, they start doing it and then they realize real quick that's not really what they want to do, or it's not what they thought it was going to be. They thought it was going to be all, riding jet skis and stuff and having a great time and getting the $10,000 paychecks every other week, right? Well, the money's good because the job or the work is quote unquote tough or whatever for a lot of people. So you have to be willing to do what others aren't willing to do, and you have to be willing to do it a lot, and you got to do it great, and you got to just bring it every single day. So and if you listen to like one of my sales call or whatever, maybe if you're new you're like, oh wow, but if you've been in sales or whatever for a while, you're like, okay, great, it's a sale. So but doing that hundreds of thousands of times over years, that's where you start getting compound interest getting paid off. You get lots of results over time, right? They're self-reliant. They don't need someone to tell them what to do. They don't need other people to help them succeed. If everything falls apart around them, they understand that's normal, that's part of the process. They got to be their own rock. They got to be their own, quote unquote, be their own daddy, right? So they got to be able to tell themselves to do what needs to be done, right? They got to be self-motivated, self-reliant, and when the chips are down, when things aren't going their way, they know they can count on themselves, right? They take personal responsibility. So this is a big, being in control and having power over your destiny type thing. It's really one of the biggest things out there, is taking blame for every single circumstance and every single situation that you and your business and your life and your career, every single thing that's happening to you right now is 100% your fault. Good or bad, right? So you're making tons of money, that's your fault. You're not making tons of money, that's your fault, right? So extreme ownership is so important to a highly successful person, because they understand when you blame other people, you give your power away to that person. When you blame other things, you give your power away to that thing. So now this thing has to be perfect just so you can sell, right? A great example would be if you're doing, say, door-to-door sales and it's a rainy day or something, and now you can't make any deals because it's raining. Well, that means you really can't make any deals, because you need it to be sunny, and it has to be a warm, sunny day, and not too many clouds or not too sunny, because then people are out, they're not at home and they're you got a million excuses why you can't do it, right? Because there's always, if it's too rainy, then it's also too sunny some days too, and then it's too cloudy some days, and then I can't do it this day because everything's not perfect. It's not the right kind of economy right now. It's not the right kind of time of year right now. It's not the right kind of this. You can't sell, right? So you got to take personal responsibility and stop blaming circumstances, stop blaming other people for where you're at. When you do that, all the power is back in your pocket, right? All the power is back in you. You can now make the change. You can now do something different. You can now own it, right? When you give your power away, it's not going to work, right? Because then you got no power, right? They keep a balance. They keep a relaxed perspective. They don't look at the problems, get emotionally invested in the problems. They're looking at it from a balanced perspective of, okay, this is happening. This is how we resolve this, right? So they don't get sucked into the negative energy vortex of emotions during the decision-making process, right? So they have their own opinions and they understand what needs to be done, right? But they're not gonna let anger or fear dictate the solution to the quote-unquote opportunity/problem, right? They have vision. Very important that they have vision, but they also live in the present, right? They're not constantly daydreaming about this vision. It's there. It's in the back of the mind always. The vision's there, but they're living in the present of right now, of what can I do right now, right? So they're very present is the word for it. No better word for it. They're deciding, okay, this has to be done, this has to be done, let's get after it, we're going to attack it, right? They use their time instead of wasting their time, right? And how important is it to watch the new season of whatever? It's fun, whatever, is cool. Does it make money? Does it improve the business, right? Could you hold off until some other thing, maybe more important things are done before you play that video game, right? What's more important right now? Are you leveling up in the game or leveling up in your business, in your life, right? So they understand using time. Time is precious. So they use their time wisely instead of wasting their time all the time, right? They take initiative. They're self-directed. That goes back to being self-reliant, but it's something needs to happen right now. So they're after it. They go after it. They don't wait for someone else to solve the problem because they know Superman's never coming. They got to be their own Superman, right? You have to take initiative, and or else it's going to just sit there forever. That issue's never going to get resolved, right? So being an entrepreneur, you really have to take that personal initiative and be self-directed. And this is really where a lot of people fall apart in being successful, is because it's so much easier to get told what to do and then just go do it, even if you hate doing it. But at least you got direction, right? You got, okay, now I need to go do this thing that I hate. Well, but it's easier for me to get told what to do versus me just coming up with the plan to do something on my own, right? So being self-directed is a huge part of being highly successful. And then the last one might surprise you, but they laser beam focus on things. They do things great. They do one thing great at a time instead of, this whole multitasking idea in the modern world that we live in is, we're in an ADHD culture where everything is like, you get 5 seconds is about the average attention span of the average person. It's not millennials, it's not Gen Z, it's every single person, every single generation at this point. Everybody's getting inundated with the TikTok mindset, the goldfish mindset, right? So they have 5-second attention spans, and it's the next dopamine hit. It's the next dopamine hit. That's why people aren't so successful. That's why a lot of people out there are struggling, is because delaying pleasure and it's not fun, right? Trying to take the pain on right now of like locking in and doing something that's not fun so you can have pleasure later. That's not fun. That's not great. That's not going to give me the dopamine hit that I'm looking for right now, right? I need it's instant gratification culture is going to be the thing that's destroying your success. It's the reality is your attention is a currency, and your attention is being pulled in every direction, right? Your focus and your attention is being pulled on all these different directions with social media and just the media in general, and politics and this drama and that gossip and this crap and just stuff that does not matter or does not make money. So and then the things you got to do to make money, you got to go learn something, you got to go dial in for hours or days or months or weeks at a time and then work on like building something out. Like, that's not fun. That's not exciting for a lot of people, right? So this is why there is such a clear divide between the ultra successful and everyone else, right? There's this inability to focus, this inability to put your attention, put the most important currency you own on something that will make your life exponentially better in the future. But it's going to suck now. It's going to suck now. But when you have a million things to do that don't have to suck right now, it's hard to be like, okay, I'm going to choose the thing that's quote unquote sucks right now and do that instead, right? So appreciate you coming down. Hope you learned something. Let's go make some money.